It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
This is Straight Talk with an Alabamian Greg Fan, the Preacher Man, and his sidekick Shannon Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fan, the Preacher Man.
All right, we're here with Straight Talk with George, the Greg Fan, the Preacher Man, and the Bishop Rollin Dave. Hey, Bishop. Hey, listen, Ron won't be here with us today. He had to take him a sabbatical vacation day. Him and Tate got in his soul last week. He said, no, I got to take a day. I got to take a day away from Tate. But anyway, and then Shannon is still seeing about, and Shannon just had a birthday, man. He just had a birthday. He celebrated 52 years. And I want to just wish him a happy belated birthday. Oh, Shannon E. Jones. You know, we got to keep Shannon again at Sage Week in prayer because he's taking care of his agent, Perry. Oh, yeah, and he's got a 3-year-old at 52. We really need to pray. We really need to pray. But listen, today we're going to be talking about the big deal. You know, they talk about the big deal and the money and the budget and stuff. Trump, big deal. Now, you know, Trump's supposed to be a deal maker. I don't know why they think he's a deal maker. Every business he's ever had, he's lost it. Like you said the other week, with the bankrupt, every deal. Yeah. But he's a big deal maker, right? Okay. So we'll look at the big deal tonight with Iran that Trump has cut. And he's been lying and saying the deal is going to be this and the deal is going to be this. We done made a deal. We done this, that, you know. Who believe anything that Donald Trump said? Who believe anything that he said? When he opened his mouth, he's lying. When he opened his mouth, he's lying. So let's look at what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say, and let's look at the deal. And then we'll come back. We're going to make comments about what do you guys think about the deal that he has supposedly made with Iran, along with others. And we'll be right back after this big deal.
All right, folks, check this out. Marjorie Taylor Greene actually just posted this online for everyone to see, including Donald Trump himself, who I imagine won't be very happy when he does eventually come across the clip. But in this video, Marjorie Taylor Greene exposes Donald Trump, finally doing so, might I add, and also talks about his biggest recent failure, which is a large one. It impacts me, it impacts you, it impacts every single American out there. So we're going to get into this clip. We're going to watch what MTG had to say in this video that she willingly uploaded online. But before we do that, let's talk about the context here, about what Marjorie Taylor Greene is going after Donald Trump for. And it is this new alleged Iran deal that Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Iran and other countries in the region have signed. Now, of course, before this moment, there have been many different times where Trump said, you know, we have an agreement, peace is right around the corner, just for a deal to be non-existent. But this time I actually do believe it's different. I think there is a deal. I think there's a document that's been signed by everybody. But I think the deal is absolutely terrible for the United States. I think it's awful. I think it will impact generations of Americans to come. And Donald Trump is really out here trying to brag about it on social media. He said yesterday, this great deal will bring peace and security to the whole region. Many presidents have tried to make peace with Iran and all have failed before me. The leaders of the region have for the first time found a president who could help them achieve real peace. With the opening of the Strait of Hormuz upon the signing of the deal on Friday, for purposes of mine removal, oil will flow on both ends again for the region and the world. Signed, Donald J. Trump. And you know what? I actually agree. I think Donald Trump is the only president who could have gotten a deal like this done. He's the only president dumb enough and stupid enough to get us into this war and then leave with an agreement that makes the United States worse than we were before the war. He's the only idiotic man in the Oval Office who could have agreed to something like this. And I say that because we're getting the details of the deal, and it is awful. It includes hundreds of billions of dollars being given to Iran, and the United States essentially gets nothing in return. The best thing we get is like negotiations ongoing about their nuclear program. That's how bad this deal is. So let me give you the 14 points that have been leaked by the MERS news agency, a semi-official Iranian outlet. This is what they're saying the Memorandum of Understanding includes. Number one, immediate and permanent cessation of hostilities on all fronts, including Lebanon, which is great, no problem with that. But here's where it gets bad. A $300 billion reconstruction plan for Iran, backed by the United States and its allies. $300 billion from the United States and countries around the world? Are you kidding me? Art of the deal, folks. Art of the deal. Lifting the naval blockade within 30 days, withdrawal of U.S. forces from around Iran, reopening the Strait of Hormuz within 30 days under Iranian arrangements, which is, quite different than Trump saying in this post that the Strait of Hormuz is going to be opened on Friday. Quite different. Seems like Donald Trump is lying. Surprising, I know. Suspension of sanctions on Iran's oil and petrochemical exports, along with full access to its financial resources. 7, a U.S. commitment not to interfere in Iran's internal affairs and to respect Iran's sovereignty. Number 8, 60 days of negotiations focused on Iran's nuclear program and the lifting of U.S., UN, and other related sanctions. That's it. There is no abolition of their nuclear program. There's no getting rid of it like Donald Trump is claiming right now publicly. It's just ongoing negotiations, which means that theoretically there could be no further update on their nuclear program. And we got into this war, had Americans get killed, injured, lose control of the Strait of Hormuz from the world just for Iran to take control of it, all for us to not get anything on their nuclear deal. Again, art of the deal. Iran reaffirming its commitment under the NPT to not develop nuclear weapons, which is like, great. Okay, they reaffirm their commitment. It doesn't mean anything. No new U.S. forces in the region and no new sanctions during the negotiation period. The release of $24 billion in blocked Iranian funds, with half made available before talks began. So even more money for Iran on top of the $300 billion reconstruction funds. A creation of a supervisory mechanism to oversee implementation of the agreement, approval of any final agreement through a UN Security Council resolution. And finally, negotiations would only begin after half of Iran's blocked funds are released, oil sanctions are suspended, and the naval blockade is lifted. The talks would focus on enrichment, sanctions relief, and economic reconstruction, while Iran's missile program and support for terrorist organizations would stay off the table. 2 major points that the United States would hope to get over Iran staying off the table. That's just wonderful. Art of the deal. Wow, we have some great negotiators in the Oval Office right now. That sounds utterly disastrous for the United States. And what's crazy is that this $300 billion is not just a rumor. Matter of fact, it's actually been confirmed by J.D. Vance. CBS asked him, the Iranians are saying they're going to have access to this $300 billion reconstruction fund. Is that true or false? J.D. Vance said, that's the sort of thing they could have access to so long as they honor their end of the obligation, which is a yes from J.D. Vance. And what's so interesting about this point is that Donald Trump actually went on social media and said Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon. Not true. Also, the story that the U.S. is paying Iran $300 million is fake news put out by the Democrats. You know what? You're right, Donald. It is fake news because it's not $300 million. It's $300 billion with a B. A B, not $300 million, $300 billion. And he says that this is being perpetrated by the Democrats. Is J.D. Vance, his own vice president, now a Democrat, according to Donald Trump?
All right. That's a lot right there, brothers. That's a lot right there. Oh, lying Donald. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how the American people have been tricked to go along with Donald Trump and his foolishness. Got us in a war with Israel against Iran because of the nuclear weapons that was being built. And this whole deal came out. There's no deal about getting rid of nuclear weapons.
Correct.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Tell me what you got to say about this. I know you took a few notes. I see you should have been a teacher.
Let's just assume that this is correct. Let's just do that first.
You always want to assume.
I'm not. What I'm saying.
He's about the most assumption.
No, what
person
I'm saying, because we're taking this at face value.
You take everything at face value.
Because I had to jot down.
So you want to say that he's lying?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. But
what are you saying?
But it did come from the Iranians. Okay, now we need to see the document. So, but we're gonna take it at face value. From that point, let me say this: Trump has lied And
For real? You sure he doesn't lie?
There have been approximately 30 plus times when he said that there was a deal.
Okay.
And we...
That is a fact, though, right?
Yeah, over 30 times.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that has been to stabilize the market, because each time he says these things, it stabilizes the market, to keep the market from going haywire. And if there's a deal this time, we do understand that he's not all this in creating deals, because we talked about his bankruptcies and all that. So I don't have much faith in his deals. Now, I do believe that, I don't know how much it would be, but when you tear up someone's country, you should pay. 300 billion, 400 billion, whatever it is. We went in for whatever reason and we tore up Iran. And so we should pay. The blockage should be removed. But that was part of the strategy to get them to come to the table. Whether or not they're at the table or not, I don't know. But when they come to the table, that should be removed. Now, this thing about removing U.S. bases in that region, I don't know if that's going to happen. I can't see, and you're military, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't see, and you probably speak more on that, I can't see the United States moving bases in that area as a deal for anything. Because if we move in our bases in that region, I don't care what deal you have, you don't have any support. The Iranians, that this war with Israel, I see it as some type of, they haven't said it's a holy war, but it's and I say this, that you've been on Sunday school with us, that Ishmael and Isaac been fighting from day one, and Ishmael is the Iranians, and Isaac the Jews, and Abraham is the middle, and they aren't going to have some outside person settling their wars. That's just how I see it from a biblical perspective. So I don't know if this is going to end. And to say that they cannot have nuclear weapons, and many commentators that say that Iran was not at the point of a nuclear weapon. Some say they were, some say they were not. I think most people believe that Donald Trump, we're in this because Israel finally found a president who would listen to what they have been selling to Bush, Obama, Biden, and first Trump. But the first Trump White House had military people, had government people who did not hear this foolishness. And so they stopped it. And now they are able to get someone to bring us into this war. So I don't know if we should be there. And all of these points, I'm not sure if it's there.
Okay, then.
I say we call it like it is. Basically, he have the blueprint for a MOU, a memorandum of understanding.
Yeah.
And they still got 60 days to negotiate this. So him saying that they have a deal, there is no deal yet because you still got to go to negotiations. It's written that they said they can go to negotiations in 60 days, within 60 days. This whole issue over there is... Yes,
let me just stop right here. So we want to be clear on the memorandum of understanding, what it is, because most people may not know what it is. So we want to be clear on it. It's not agreement. It's something on a piece of paper that say we agree to this, but the overall agreement hasn't been made.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So part of this issue, like you said, being a holy war, that has some truthful to it, I believe. But also, it has to do with the fact that President Barack Obama had a deal made. That was an actual deal where they wouldn't make any nuclear weapons. And they received so much, I think it was maybe $3 or $4 billion of their money that everybody had a fit over. Now, this war that's taking place over there in Iran, it was started by Israel. Israel is basically running the United States right now. If you might have seen in the news lately, there was actual some type of a pact that the U.S. was supposed to be making with Israel to where they would share military assets and things of that nature. So Israel is going to be starting these conflicts, I'm gonna say, over in the Middle East, because they are at one point was surrounded by nothing but Muslim countries.
Good.
However, when they had this situation with
The Gaza Strip.
the Palestinians,
Right, the Gaza Strip.
so they was able to secure that part of the border. The same day that he said that he had this deal, Israel was steady bombing Lebanon.
They were.
And that's going to be the wild card right there, because is this something that is this something that Israel is going to agree on?
Right.
Or is this something that the United States saying that this is what we're going to do? And as far as this $300 billion, now we supposed to have $300 billion that we can do to fix up their country from the things that we bomb. But we don't have $300 billion for healthcare, for homelessness, food.
Right.
This whole thing with the straits, I had just read today that they said that they wouldn't be charging people to bring in stuff, that Iran wouldn't be charging. But what they did also say, though, is that there will be a fee.
Yeah.
So that's still a charge.
That's a charge.
So whereas before, it was never nothing. It was international waters and people just traveled through. So I don't believe that this quote unquote deal is even going to really become a deal. I think it's going to get worse. And if this doesn't end, then we had people who lost their lives for nothing.
I do want to add some context to this. One thing they said about the $300 billion, that it would be a shared cost with other countries who were involved in, like Lebanon and some of the other countries, right, that were involved in this war. So that would be a shared cost, but there's $24 billion, an additional $24 billion that were held back by the United States, that they want half of that before they even enter into a deal. This is just memorandum of understanding. Before they enter into a deal, give us our money, give us half our money that you've been holding. Then we can begin discussion for a deal. That this is, as you said, and I agree, this is not a deal. This is just beginning some key points for discussion, because I don't know, like you said, whether or not the United States would want to pull their troop out of Lebanon. I mean, that's going to be contentious, very much contentious.
And with this administration, I don't put nothing past them, because there's already in the works plans to bring remove military from Europe.
Oh, wow.
From Germany. So that's supposed to be coming soon.
But I thought this was a military-friendly administration. I mean, you military. That's why
I mean, well, when you fit, of course, you what's his name? Old Drunk Pete.
Heckstaff.
He has.
Would you call him Drunk Pete?
Yeah. He has this.
The man who was in the National Guard, who got kicked out of the National Guard, running the Army. I'm running the armed services. Oh yeah, Drunk Pete.
They feel that they meet. They have a special prototype of what a soldier should look like, and because like with this backyard brawl they had this weekend at the this quote unquote Freedom 50.
We're gonna get into that.
What I was getting at is the fact that when you said that would they move people, in order for a soldier to be able to attend that event at the White House, they had to meet a certain height and weight requirement.
Are you serious?
Just
to attend?
Just to attend.
Oh my.
So.
Oh my. Why? You didn't believe? You didn't know?
No,
that?
I believe. I didn't hear that, but I believe it.
Just like.
Wait. He said he believed it, but then he didn't.
No, this is my first time hearing it, but I believe it. Jefferson said, I believe it.
I mean, but that man said some stuff you didn't. But you assumed that we gonna take it.
I mean, Jefferson saying, I believe it.
But also, when you
know, I
say
like mess
about
with you.
removing people,
removing
bases from there. All the bases in the Middle East so far have been destroyed.
Really?
They have been received heavy damage.
So they're just not being reported.
Right. But if you remember the withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Right. I want to talk a little bit about that.
They blamed on Biden.
Right.
Okay. But what people don't understand is that this was a deal, once again,
It really was.
Made by Trump.
Right.
Where they said that we will be out of this area in a certain amount of time. Half of the majority of the soldiers were removed from that area. So it left only a small group of soldiers there. So when it came time to leave, if we would have stayed, they had agreed that the Taliban said that they would start the war again. So that means if we would have stayed, then we would have to bring people back over there, and it would have upset America because we said that we were ending the war.
Right.
The war was over with.
Well, can we just be clear? The war's not over there either.
It's not.
It's not over there. And Bush got us in that war. So, what about nuclear weapons then, right?
Yes.
So let's just be clear. See, the kind of stuff that we're talking about now is real talk. I mean, real talk. Because we got our young men and young ladies that are losing their life, that's dedicating themselves to protect us over here, to protect us. You served, you went in to protect those of us here. But Donald Trump doesn't give a hootenanny. He said that. I don't care what they think. I don't care about it. He said it out of his mouth. I don't care. He said he don't care about the American people. He doesn't care about us. And people are finally realizing that he doesn't care because he's not worried about what he's going to eat. He's not worried about his medical costs. He's not, because listen, his son, Jared Kushner's son-in-law, he's making money. And he's bartering for himself and for the United States.
Yes.
I mean, who ever heard of that? I mean, that's a double agent, if I call it a double agent, because you making money while you doing this job, right? That you're supposed to be doing for the United States, right? I mean, so then you look at his boys, they making money off of deals that being cut by them, but he has already led the way for the deals to be made. So then greater to himself with more money, more wealth, right? But he didn't care about the least, the less, the lost in life. He don't care about those homeless people in the street. He didn't care about hospitals closing down. He didn't care about even the military. He didn't care about when you start dealing with top commanders, people who've been in the armed services, who have been in the war, and you start firing them and listening to the advice of someone who, first of all, is a drunkard. Secondly, never served in the armed service, served in the National Guard, and was booted out of the National Guard. I mean, when you have that kind of incompetency, talking about wars and planning strategies for war and bringing in people who are loyal to you but don't have a clue about how to strategize in terms of a war. I mean, really? I mean, you were a sergeant. I'm not talking about you per se, but you was a sergeant, but because you do what I say do, so I'm gonna make you a colonel, full bird colonel, right? But you don't even know how to do the troops. Now you got people who are well trained under beneath you, and they looking at you and say, "Hey, listen, Colonel, I don't think we ought to do this. And he's saying, I'm the colonel. I'm the colonel. Right. And that's what Headstall's saying. I'm in charge of it. I'm in charge. So what I say, that's what you do. You do what I say do. Right? I'm going to have them throw you in the brig. I'm going to have them honorably discharge you, dishonorably discharge, and all those threats and taking pension from people like he tried to do the congressman. Yeah. You know, Captain McKay or Captain Gilbert's husband, Arizona. But and those people who stood up said, no, you don't have to follow any legal order. That's what they said. Right. In the legal order, you don't have to follow. And they were saying that because the law order was illegal.
You know what the simple answer to that?
What's that?
We don't give illegal orders.
Oh, you don't? That's what they said.
But that's what he should have said.
That's what he should have said.
Right.
But he didn't.
But for them, to try to go after somebody for them saying that to not follow illegal orders, that's like saying, go rob that bank.
Right.
But I'm going to arrest you afterwards.
Right.
It doesn't make sense, but the whole government is like that right now.
It is.
Every agency that we have right now is run by incompetent people.
It is.
And that goes to what's going on today here in Georgia. Election day.
Right.
Elections have consequences. And this is the consequences of what we're dealing with right now.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. There's one other thing I want to talk about before we get to that. Don't hold that thought. Hold that thought. If a man can say, to your point, at the boxing match, okay, whoever heard this, I mean, you having a boxing match at the White House, right? And then your person called the former First Lady a man. Mm. And now I would think Obama's a man. He said, no, you can deal with me, but you're not going to be talking about my wife. I mean, he's not going to be like Ted Cruz or something or other. No, you're not going to talk about my wife. See, that's one thing about a black man. Yeah. A black man, you can say what you want to say about me, right, but you leave my wife and children out of it. Right. But when you say something about my wife, we got a problem, right? So, and he stood up for his wife, and I'm proud to know that he would stand up for his wife because the other wimped out.
Oh, he gave a response.
Yeah, he gave a response. He gave a response to that. He said, no, you can't talk about my wife now. Now you and listen, and you cannot come in my library. You can't even put your hand on the door of my library. I don't even want you in it. That's what he said. Okay. So I mean, I wanted to put that out for the record, but that's what he said. He stood up for his wife, and that's what black men, real black men, right, that's what we do. You ain't gonna talk about our wife and our children. And this is like when we were coming up. If you can't talk about our mama, somebody say your mama, it's a fight.
But I think even that, Bishop, men, because as you were saying, President Obama responded. I remember when what's his name, the one that died when they talked about Obama.
Oh, you talking about McCain?
McCain.
Right, McCain.
McCain stood up. He did. McCain said, "Hey, we disagree on the direction of the country.
Right.
But he is a good man. We just have a disagreement." So McCain stood up because he's that type of man he was.
Right, but he stood up for a man.
But he stood up.
But listen, that wasn't my point. My point was that you're not gonna talk about our wives.
I agree with you. I agree.
And ever since Trump was elected, they have disrespected so many black women.
Yeah.
And I tried to get some brothers to understand this, that when they say certain things, when they say low IQ and that, like what Kamala Harris, she was good on her knees and all that other stuff. I said, they're not just talking about Kamala Harris.
Right.
They're referring to all black women.
Your mama,
your aunt, your grandmother, your sister, your daughter.
Right.
But some of them don't see it that way.
Right.
They just think, oh man, they just talking. No.
Yeah.
It's a straight up disrespect. We have one of the smartest justices on the Supreme Court.
Right.
And they had the nerve to say that she had low IQ. And it's like everybody that they disagree with has low IQ. But for what that guy said on that at that match,
Right.
he only did it for the benefit of the president.
That's all. But I want to. There's a clear distinction between standing up for human beings.
Okay.
That's see, you talking about somebody standing up for a human being.
Okay.
I'm talking about as we're talking about taking care of our queens, the women who birthed us into
Right.
the world, right?
Okay, I got you.
Because you, I, and Jemison, and any one of us, if you said something about our mama, it was a fight. You couldn't say nothing about mama.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those are our areas, and you can't say nothing about my wife. Like Ted Cruz allowed him to talk about the wife the way he talked about that man's wife. Man, please. I mean, we wouldn't have dealt with that. We would have confronted him like Obama confronted him on this. Is now I done let you did everything else, but you don't went too far now. You don't went too far now. You need to back up. Now we ain't gonna have that. You ain't gonna call my wife a man when we got two girls, And listen. No. He went to when they started dating and all that stuff, and what the place was, where he put the library at. That's what he started dating. He talked about all this, but no, you're not gonna talk about my wife now. That's all bets off on that now. And I go high, you go high, I go low. But he said, no, not in this case. You ain't be talking about my wife.
And I feel that we're at that point where we don't need to go low no more.
No low.
Every time they go high, we're gonna go higher.
You go higher.
Now, when they go low, we got to go low. They didn't go high; they went low.
Well,
Yeah,
match the same energy.
Right.
Put it that way.
That's what they did.
Right.
Yeah.
But going back to your point before we got to that, did you remember what it was? We were talking about something, and we were talking about Georgia politics, and you finna say something about Georgia politics.
You said election started today.
Yeah.
This is the results of elections.
Right.
What we're dealing with right now.
Right.
And if we don't fix this, we got more to come. We have a whole lot more to come. And we only talking about the primaries right now.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, I want to say it's going to be tomorrow that they're going to be in special session.
Right.
They will be in special session tomorrow.
But let me just say something about this is a pre-recorded program, so we're talking about stuff that's happening today because we're recording this program on Tuesday. So the people like, wait a minute, what that happens the other day. So this is a pre-recorded. So anything that happens after this program, this is what we're talking about. What's happening on Tuesday, the 16th. Okay, I want to let them know that. Yeah.
Yeah, we just have we have a lot that we're going to be facing in the next couple of months that people really have to open up their eyes to see what's going on. This, like I said, this trailer park 250 they had this weekend. You never heard of the desecration of the White House the way they did.
Oh man!
With they had BMX riders over there doing flips and all types of stuff that you would see at like a monster truck rally. They had that type of stuff going on there, and you can look it up. They had a height and weight requirement for people to attend, for the soldiers that they were giving tickets to attend that event.
So why do you think that was the case?
Because Drunk Pete has this what he calls the warrior ethos, where that the soldier is supposed to look a certain build. They supposed to look like they ready to fight, that type of thing. That's why if y'all recall, I think it was late last year, when they met with all the officers
in Virginia. I remember everybody got together. I remember that.
And he started talking about height and weight requirements and these generals, these, fat generals and all that other stuff. And, they wanted to get them out of the way. I wish that we would have been I wish I would have been thinking about this earlier, but what's your friend name?
Ron.
Stacey Abrams.
Oh, Stacy.
Stacey Abrams had
My friend? She the people's friend.
Stacey Abrams, she had a list of basically how.
Can we break right now? We got to break because we've been going a long time on this, but we're coming back on that. We're coming back with Miss C. Miss C, come on with your news and information. And don't forget about it.
Miss C here with your 3-minute news blast, or more or less. Listen, you're invited to worship with the Reset Church at 9 a.m. online at www.resetchurchonline.com. Or you can worship with them in the sanctuary at 2814 Normanberry Drive in East Point. Cedric Hamner is pastor. That's www.reset, that's RESET, churchonline.com. Flipper Temple AME Church will honor its 2026 graduates on Sunday, June 28th at the 10:45 a.m. service. The church is located at 580 Atlanta Student Movement Boulevard in Southwest Atlanta. Join us as we celebrate the hard work and dedication of our youth. For more details, call the church at 404-522-5020. Reverend Elijah Shafar is pastor. Liberty International Church will present a ministry program on the 23rd Psalm, featuring interpretations by various pastors on Sunday, June 28th from 10 to 11 a.m. The church is located at 1362 Metropolitan Parkway in Southwest Atlanta. For more information, call 404-756-7546. Bishop Greg Fan is overseer. Now, there's some things I'd like for you to do before we part from each other, okay? I'd like for you to like us, subscribe to us, leave comments, let us know how we're doing. We would love to hear from you. And also share us. Don't keep Straight Talk News to yourself. Let everybody know what you know. We are Straight Talk News. And listen, if you have an announcement you'd like for us to share with everybody, just send it to us email it to us. straighttalknews1362@gmail.com. That's straighttalknews1362@gmail.com. And listen, I have a few words for you to ponder, okay? Faith does not make things easy. It makes them possible. This week, let your challenges be outmeasured by your trust. Okay? That's just a few words of wisdom from Miss C. And listen, we'll see you right back here next time. And in the meantime and in between time, may the Lord God bless you real good. Bye now.
You should totally talk to him. No, I don't know though. I'm scared. I mean, you're so...
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
I'm a different kind of threat. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. You can't call the cops on me.
Do you still want to hang out after?
I don't want your money or your TV. I don't even have to break in. I'm invited.
All right, Stacy. Now, what are you about to say about Stacy?
Well, Stacey Abrams had she came up with basically 7 points of how basically a country will be run by I want to make sure I'm saying the word right, authoritarian.
Autocracy, through autocracy. That's what you're talking about.
And it was basically we are in those steps
Right
now.
Right.
And I was trying to look it up real quick. That break was going to be that quick.
Well, well, let me just say, what happens is this. That's a dictatorship, and it's moving toward dictatorship. Let's talk about the billions of dollars that just been allocated, in addition to the billions of dollars that have already been given to the ICE people. One I talked about that the other day. He was saying that at the cloak of darkness at night, 4 o'clock in the morning, they voted to give so many more $1 billion to ISIS, which is a paramilitary government sanctioned policing unit of the United States. So what you're looking at is the days of Hitler and those people and some of the stuff that you see that's going on now, where you have those people who are overriding the local government, the state government, and you have a militia. Basically what they're a militia, and they are actually doing the bidding of the president, just like the king, like the dictator. And see, we have created and allowed for, in terms of what you're talking about, a dictatorship. And we keep saying no king, but when a person lied to your face, as he's lied on numerous occasions, and have said he's not going to do this, he's not going to do this, and everything he says he's not doing, believe that's what he's doing. I mean, just believe when he says he's not doing this, just believe that's what he's doing. He is proving it. When you're talking about 20 or 30 times, 40 times, he done lied about this, just about the war. Just the war. I mean, he done lied and schemed and lied. And what I said, people have started looking at how it is affecting their day-to-day living in terms of being able to feed their families, to be able to provide a place for them to stay, to be able to provide decent education for their children. I mean, and to have a steady a source of income coming in to be able to provide, because it ain't there. I mean, because everything is cut out. Let me just say this to you guys, because where we are here, the Weibo bond is down the street. The Weibo bond down the street. On Sunday, I counted 12 Weibos going from that bond going to the stadium. 12. That's why I was on the porch. That's why I was on the front. I don't know how many after I left that was leaving there taking people, or going to pick up people to take them to Mercedes for the soccer match and those other things, right? I mean, where are we going with jobs? Where are we going with job opportunities? And we were talking today, Pastor Hampton and I were talking today about these tiny houses, how they building these little tiny houses, and people say, well, they're so cute. Well, I can afford a tiny house, but you're affording a trailer because you don't own the land. You're just putting your house on somebody else's land. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this whole concept, but I can afford that. Well, they can afford that because they can afford to buy a house at $300,000 or $400,000. And Dave, I keep saying this over and over again, is that when you start building houses next to your house, like you probably have a decent place to live and everything, like myself and Deacon Jefferson. But when you start building houses next to our houses, or 3 blocks or 2 blocks over our houses that are now $400,000 and $500,000. See, it used to be a time where they would say it had to fit the same character of the neighborhood. Now they changed the whole character of the neighborhood. And when you change the character of the neighborhood, now that house you change the character of the neighborhood is worth $500,000, but your house ain't worth no $500,000, but you're gonna be taxed like it's a $500,000 house because it's in the same neighborhood, right? So I mean, so we and that really starts with planning and zoning and those individuals who are on the local level, who allow for certain kinds of development to come into an area, right? Because you can say, okay, if it doesn't fit the character of the existing homes, you can't put it here. You can't put a $500,000 house next to a house that's $250,000 or $150,000. You can't do that. You change the whole character of the neighborhood, and then you causing the people who are there, but their little houses, to put that burden on them to try to come up, and they're basically going to be senior citizens or almost senior citizens, because most people now who get starter houses, they get starter houses at $250 and above. Ain't no more little young starter houses that cheap like that now.
It's interesting. Just Sunday, I was watching on Netflix the Katrina document. Mm-hmm. Someone told me to look it up, and I was on, I think I'm on the third episode, and it talks about those who came back and how the city had changed, and they couldn't afford the homes, and some of the houses were still there. Those who survived, and those houses that survived the storm, they had gentrified them. And those who wanted to come back couldn't, for those reasons, because they couldn't keep up, or they couldn't pay the property tax or what have you. And that word wasn't out there then, because this was 2007.
Well, okay.
It was about 2 years later. But they just saw something was going on, that they couldn't keep their homes because the house was there, but they couldn't afford to keep it, because the neighborhood was changing.
Absolutely.
Their house stayed, but the neighborhood, other houses changed. And those who could afford, they were able to move in. And they kept changing those other houses to eventually that whole community changed.
The whole community changed.
And then they were telling the people who were coming back, who were teachers, who were professionals, you can come back, but your house is not there anymore. And so they say, well, if my house is not there, I might as well stay where I am, because I can't afford
to build.
Right. So that's interesting that we kind of morph into that conversation. But this was going on in New Orleans back in 2007.
It's not interesting because I've been saying that every program. I mean, because I want the message to get out, and we should be, because what you guys now live in a different subdivision. They got subdivision with HOA codes and all that other stuff now, right? And that ain't nothing but a burden on some people, because they ain't gonna be able to keep their house up to the code and all like that. So then you start gentrifying that community. If you have studied, and people in planning know this, who've gone to school in planning, gentrification happens every 15, 20 years. Every 15, 20 years. The life expectancy of them all is every 15, 20 years. How many times has Greenby been repurposed? How many times over all his lifespan, right? Now you don't have Macy's in there, which was Rich's back in the day. Then you had a J.C. Penney's in there. Then J.C. Penney's left. Then you had Burlington's in there. Burlington's left.
Magic Johnson studio.
The Magic Johnson theater. All that stuff, because the neighborhood now has been gentrified, right? Now they done build all of these apartments around it.
Right.
All these apartments around it. Now let me just tell you what's going to happen with that. 15 to 20 years, those things are going to run down. Mm-hmm. They're going to run down. And then they're gonna repurpose that, because what you have to do is they have what we call a comprehensive land use plan in terms of how the land is going to be used. So developers know that, and they know that, hey, I own this property. I'm gonna let this property run down. When people talk about, but these apartments don't run down. They ain't doing nothing to the apartments, and you see they want to run down. Because they want Camelot. Camelot is a prime example of Old National. Camelot used to be the creme de la creme. Everybody want to move in Camelot. But now Camelot is an eyesore to the community. Because why now? Because it didn't fit the comprehensive land use plan now. And it is ran down. That's what they call gentrifying the community.
I mean, just like downtown Brooklyn.
Right.
If you've ever been in Brooklyn before, Brooklyn look like Manhattan now.
Right.
With all the high-rise buildings and everything. It's very gentrified.
Right.
I was just listening to the radio this morning, and they was talking about that, how they got all these people thought that Jay-Z had a stake in the Brooklyn Nets, but he only had like a percentage, and he sold that. But by that time, everything got built up off of his name, and you got all these high rises down there in downtown Brooklyn now, where it just don't look the same.
So where did the people go who were living in Brooklyn? Do you know? Are they going
further into Brooklyn? You know, that I would say other parts of Brooklyn, but like for instance, they have a lot of hotels and stuff built up in downtown Brooklyn. Where when I left Brooklyn in 2003, and for the longest they only had one major hotel down there, and that was the Marriott in downtown. Now they have hundreds of hotels, and we talking about a hotel where you're gonna be spending like
$300-400
But the people who were moved out for gentrification, where did they go? That's what I'm
saying. Further into Brooklyn. They, from the downtown area, they moved them more in other parts of Brooklyn.
Let me just say this to you. It happened here. They did it with the projects,
right?
Yeah. And they tore the projects down. Okay. They built the big hotels and all this stuff, All right. So where did the people go? They told the people, well, when we fix them, you can come back. No, they ain't came back. Where they moved them to? Clayton County, right? They moved them to Clayton County. They moved them out in DeKalb County. They moved them to Rockdale County. They moved them further out of the inner city. Because if you look at Atlanta, the Atlanta we knew, and you look at the downtown with the Kesslers and the H.L. Greens and all that, those things that were downtown, now you're seeing hotels and you're seeing all of these big buildings and stuff. You look at Atlanta skyline, you can see Atlanta skyline from down there anywhere now. These buildings are so high. But they ain't the Atlanta we grew up with. But what are people who live there? Right. The Vine City, the Eagle Homes, the John Hope Homes, and all they gone.
Because see, they call John Hope Home estates because it was up on the top of Northside Drive, and they knocked it down and they rebuilt it, making it look differently. But to Bishop's point, people had moved away while they were building it, and I don't know that they bring them back.
Well, they can't afford. They can't afford. Right. See, let me this right here. They can't afford the rent because now you're in a high rent district now. I mean, you think about Northside Drive, the Northside Drive that you grew up in. You think about that. Then think about the kind of building they built now on Northside Drive. The only thing that's really still over Northside Drive in that area is Flipper Timber Church. Because Herman Russell, his building, they done turned that building into
that's
something.
That's Fair Street.
Right.
So I was at the top of Northside Drive.
Down where it comes in by Spelman over here?
Yes, that's where I was.
All right. So if you look at all of that, because of the colleges and the university over there, now you got dormitories. You got to have more dormitories for the kids. Yeah. So it's really a high-end place where people live. Because when you talk about just going back down through there, and you think about what was there and what is now, even Peter Street. Yep. Even Peter Street. They don't build apartments on Peter Street. High-end one-bedroom apartment.
And that's what I'm not sure what the name of the area y'all call it, where Thomasville Heights was at.
Right.
That area is changing.
Right, it is.
And what's I could see it happening, but I could see them eventually shutting down the penitentiary over there.
They already, you might well say they shut it down. But when we grew up, they had iron fences around it. Yep. But now they got those aluminum fences around it.
No, it's still that way.
No. It's aluminum, brother. I was over there the other day. It's some places they ain't even got a fence around on the outside.
Because, let me explain a little bit about the penitentiary.
Okay.
The penitentiary has, wall that you see, that's the prison. The prison is behind that wall.
Okay.
And then they have a fence that goes around that part of the wall.
Right.
So the areas that you see that does not have a fence that look like dormitories,
Right.
those they're not occupied.
Yeah, they used to be the housing and stuff.
They actually was a minimum security camp.
Right.
They wasn't there for hardcore criminals.
No, I'm saying because some of the wardens and some of those people lived in those houses. I know that.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
I mean, see, I'm from here. We know that. We know the history of the federal opinion. Okay.
Well, y'all know some of it.
Okay, some of it. With the Four Seasons and all those apartments and stuff like that.
Well, what I'm getting at is those apartments been closed since like 2000.
Oh yeah.
But
and the government project.
But that the dorms that you see without the fence around them, those were minimum security.
Okay.
So when the news was saying that people were leaving and coming back, that wasn't actually true. They wasn't coming from the penitentiary. They was coming from the minimum security area, where it's different laws for different rules. I'm gonna say for that that setup. But I do see them shutting down the part that's around the wall. Due to the fact that the area is growing.
It's growing.
And to me, it will become an eyesore for me. They're not going to knock it down now. I can see them making it into a museum or something like that. But if I got a $500,000 home, I don't want it next to no prison.
Right.
And I could see them shutting it down to where it becomes some type of museum or something like that. But where those projects were at, because initially the one that's right there on Moreland Avenue and Boulevard. No, not
Moreland Avenue and Custard Avenue.
And, what's
Custard Avenue.
Yeah, that one right there. When they knocked all those buildings down.
Right, that was the driver's license place, that plaza over there.
No, I'm not talking about right there. I'm talking about the one that's across the street from the church over there in
Mount Nebo?
Yeah, right across the street.
Those were the government projects.
Where they had that wall at. Now,
was that Thomasville Heights?
Yeah, that was the government project across from Mount Nebo.
Thomasville Heights.
And they had that whole open area. That's prime real estate right there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Somebody going to get that.
Well, let me just say that that's a part of the TAD, the stuff that they're doing now and discussing, getting the TAD to do development on the east side of Atlanta, right? And even the southwest side of Atlanta. I know a lot about Thomasville, but I can't tell you on the air, okay?
So we initially talked about voting.
Yes, sir.
So when we're voting in these local elections, I think that's all we
can we pick that up next time? We spent a lot of time on both of these subjects, and I thank Brother Jefferson for being here because he's a knowledgeable guy to be from someplace else. But let me say this, Brother Jefferson, before you go though. The whole plan is, and we were talking about gentrification, is that Thomasville Heights, the government project, those government projects, across from the school, the church, and that area over there. Because you got another area on the backside further down Constitution Avenue called Leela Valley.
Okay.
It's another place going back toward Moreland Avenue all the way over there. You know what I'm talking about? So all of that area over there is prime for development because they build houses all down in there back on and like where Inglewood used to be, the apartments on Inglewood on Boulevard. Mm-hmm. All those apartments those were government apartments. Now they putting other apartments in there. And then when you go further Boulevard, you see how they build these apartments and they're up in the air, restaurants and all that other stuff.
Moreland Avenue right now is.
I mean, it's really totally different than what it was when we grew up in Atlanta. So to your point about people, to what you asked the question, what are the people? The people being forced out because they can't afford to pay the rent. Because when you're talking about just the apartments they built right there with those driver's license places at Custard and Moreland, $1,600, $1,400 for one bedroom. People can't afford that.
No.
They can't afford that. I mean, so there's 30 forcing people out, and that's on the cab side where those apartments are. Because the Biden line in Moreland Avenue on the left side, if you're going back toward Thomasville, is a cab. On the right side is Fulton. So you got that jurisdictional stuff going on over there too. A lot of that, but because you got the old Starlight Theater down now.
Yes.
Yes, all of that. So I can tell you a lot about Thomasville, but I won't tell you on that. but I thank you so very much for being a part of the program today. This has been a great program, and Rollin Tate, you did really good today. You did not try to take my place as the host, man. And I sit back and let you just talk and talk and talk and talk till your heart was content.
Appreciate that. I thank you.
Well, thank you so very much. And my hearts go out to the Beasley family. Sister Beasley lost of her father and her husband, Elder Beasley. Our condolences go out to you. And we love you, and ain't nothing you guys can do about it. And we're going to get ready to get out of here. This ain't been nothing but straight talk with yours to the great fan, the preacher man, Rollin Tate and Deacon Jemerson. And this is what? Straight Talk. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick.
Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Fan at FANN922@Comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shannon Jones and Greg Pan, the Preacher Man.